Hello everybody, welcome. So basically in this tarot card reading, I'm going to tell you all that it's going to be for August the 15th to August 30th of 2025 in this Gemini reading. So if you are a Gemini, you know how it is. If you're not Gemini, if you are a cross watcher, whatever it is, that's how it goes. This is going to be very interesting indeed. So I hope you all like this. Please get a like, please get a comment if you want. But it seems to be very intense, that I believe, and how it's gonna be. I hope that you all like it and enjoy it, because it's the way it seems to be happening in that way, and you're trying to figure out, okay, well, this seems to be fine, but that's how it goes. So if you're wondering about why my voice is a little bit low, I'm so sorry about it. But the way how this is, it's like you have to turn the volume, and this is how it is, right? So you have to turn the volume between your tablet device, or your TV, or your computer, or your phone, what it is. But the way how this is, I hope that you all enjoy it. Please get a like, please get a comment if you want. But it seems to be very interesting. Do not hesitate about saying something about my voice being low, and this is how it goes. If you guys are doing it to me and I don't like it, you can unsubscribe if you want to, right? It's your choice. But the way how this is, you have to understand that you're trying to not criticize, and you're trying to not how it is in that way, and you're trying to be boastful of knowing what to do, right? This is how it's going to be. This is how it's going to be a main situation of knowing what to do, right? So this is just the way how it goes in that way, and this is how it is in that way of how it seems to be. So you have to understand of how it goes in that way, right? So this is the way it seems to be. So I want to look at the way how this is, because the way how this is going to be in that way. It's like, okay, everything's going to be fine, but then we have to understand that this is the way it kind of goes in that way. Because it might be a course of action. It might be the way of how you hoped, how you're going to deal with, how you're going to, how it is, right? So you have to understand how it goes in that way. So I'm going to look at the past situation, the present, and the future for you, Gemini, and I hope you all like it as well. So this is the way it seems to be in that way, and this is how it's going to be in that perspective of how it is in that way of how it goes, and this is the seems to be. So here we go. So in this motivation, you have the Ten of Swords in the past situation. It does represent conclusions. You have all these conclusions. It does represent Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, so you might be dealing with that in that perspective. I don't know why, but you have to know about how it is in that way, right? So this is the past situation. The present, as in now, you have the Lotus reverse because you already know about your decisions. You already have your decisions made already for you. That's how it goes in that way, right? That's the present right now. And then the future, you have the Knight of Swords reverse because there's no drama yet, nothing. But the way how this is, if I'm going to clarify, I hope that it seems to be very how to do it in that way, because I'm going to clarify, and I need to clarify on how everything is in that way. So let's see what's going on. So I'm going to clarify on the past situation for you, Gemini. So 2 wants to separate, you want planning. 6 wants reverse, there's no celebration. But 4 reverse, there's no change. But 10 swords, there's conclusions. Yeah, because you want to plan on something, on how it goes, because you need to have that theoretical standpoint of how it goes. So you might be doing it in a Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. You might be doing it in a generally recurs in that way, but you have to go with the flow, right? You have to understand to set standards to know what it is, right? That's how it goes. And periodic way of how it goes in that way. It's like, alright, everything's gonna be fine. Alright, I know what to do, but this is how it goes. You have to go with the flow. When you go with the flow, you pay attention to what you're gonna be feeling in that way. What's in the middle of this situation for Gemini in the past right now? The 6 Cups reverse, there's no past. The Queen wants to celebrate, there's charisma. And the 9 of Swords, there's drama, right? In that way, it's like, why are you doing it? Why are you focusing about it? It's like, why are you saying, why me, in that way? And it's like, oh, well, I don't know what to do. I don't want to feel like this. It's like, yes, it is. you understand about how it is in that way. You're trying to know that you can set your own methods of knowing what to do, and you know what it is in that way. It's like you have to go with the flow. When you go with the flow, you know what it is in that way, and you're trying to understand of how it goes in that way, right? In theory, you know what it takes in that way, right? So you might be dealing with an generally recurs in that way, all right? What's in the future of this Knight of Swords here? Wheel of Fortune is upright, so you're gonna have good luck on your side. King of Pentacles here, there's no security. Ace of Cups here, there's no abundance. Knight of Cups here, there's no romance. But the Magician is upright, there's skill. Yeah, so the way how this is like, you know how you're going to pan out, you know what it takes, but then you have your own originality to know what it takes in that way. It's like, oh, everything's fine. It's like, yes, it is, but you have to go with the flow, right? That's how it is. So let me try to clarify. I'm going to do one card from the left side, one card in the middle, one card on the right. So yeah, the world is completion. Judgment reverse, there's no action. And Wheel of Fortune upright, you have good luck on your side. Alright, so that's how it goes in that way. So let's see. Let's see what's going on. So let's see what this world card is about. Here, friend is upright, you're on guidance. The moon is upright, there's misrotations. And the star is upright, there's inspiration. Yeah, so you wish upon something. You know what it is in that way, you know how it goes. But then when the moon is like dragging you down or whatever it is, it's like how it is. It's like a temptation, right? So it's like you're being tempted, you don't know what to do, you know, you're trying to be mindful, you know, that's how it goes. So it's like you have to believe in order to do that. You have to understand the way how it goes in that way. It's like, okay, everything seems to be fine, but then you have to know how it goes in that way. So you have to try to use your own inner strength or your mobility of knowing what to do. What's this judgment about? The judgment is upright, so you're taking action. The high priestess is upright, you're using your inner voice. Yeah, that's how it goes. You're using your inner voice and you're taking action, that's how it goes in that way. It's like, oh, I know what to do. But then in that perspective, you know how it is in that way, and you go with the flow. That's why it seems to be that. It's the way how it goes. It's the way how you're going to have reconnection in that way, because you have to believe that. You have to go with the flow. Whenever you go with the flow, you know what it is. You're trying to figure out what's good, and that way you're trying to conceive with caution. You're trying to believe about things going the right way. That's how it goes in that way, right? This is like a pressure point. When there's a pressure point, you know what it is, but you're trying to figure out, like, okay, I know what to do. Alright, I don't want to do it again, but that's how it goes. You're using your inner voice. You know, way to go, Gemini. You pay attention on how it goes. What's this Wheel of Fortune about? Devil is upright, so you're making obsessions. The Hermit reverse, you're not having a soulmate because you already found a soulmate. The Magician reverse, there's no skill. The Hangman reverse, there's no restrictions, but the Sun card is positivity. Yeah, so you might be dealing with another Leo as another fire sign. You might be dealing with another Capricorn. You might be having violence. You don't know why that you're doing it, but it's like how you're going to crave of knowing what to do. It's like, okay, this is how it is. This is like, you know, by standards of how it goes, and you have to reconvene of how you're doing in that way. It's like, okay, I know what to do, but then it's like, why are you having your own pressure point of how it goes? This is not purebred. This is not the way of how it goes, but you know how it is, right, in that way. What's happening with this moon card here? Wheel of Fortune is upright, you're going to have good luck. Justice is upright, you're telling the truth. The Emperor is upright, you're going to have good, structure in that way, right? So you're going to have, you know, you're telling the truth. You're going to have your, the way how it is. You're going to have good luck. You're going to have your structure. That's the way it goes. You know what it is in that way, and you think, all right, everything's going to be fine. But you know what it is in that way. It's like, all right, I know what to do. All right, I'm going to, you know, believe that I can do it. That's the way it goes. You know, you go with the flow. When you go with the flow, you know how it is because you're trying to understand that in that way. What's this High Priestess about? The High Priestess is yours. You're not using your inner voice. The Empress is alright. You're being Norse, and the stars are right there. There's inspiration. Yeah, you're going to wish upon of something coming up, because that's how it goes. So between in the past and the present, you know how it goes in that way. So like this is the before, and this is like that after situation, right? And this is like beyond about that point, right? So in that way, you have to focus on what you're doing in that way. You're trying to focus. So when you're focusing about believing yourself, you know what it is in that way, right? Because there's a good saying is seeing is believing. Believing is seeing, that's all you can do. But you have to understand that in that way, right? Because like I say this, it's like there is a silver lining to every situation, no matter how it is, right? So if you're going through something and it's not good, you have to understand that that's how it goes in that way. What's between this Sun card and this Devil card? The Temperance reverse, there's no healing. The World reverse, there's incompletion. The Hero in reverse, you have no guidance. No, because the way how this is like everything's trying to having a pinpoint situation. It's like why you're doing it, but that's how it goes in that way. You're trying to know what's right, you know what's wrong, but that's how it goes in that way. So you have to know biological explanation, but 50-50 chance. It's like this is going to be interesting in that way where you might have guidance, you might have not guidance, that's how it goes, but you do exactly what you're told to. You have to be responsible on how you're feeling in that way. So let me see what's going on. Let's see what's between this Wheel of Fortune, the Justice, and the Emperor in the past situation. The King of Cups, right? So you want support. 5 Swords, there's no conflict. 2 of Cups, there's no relationships or friendships. But Queen of Cups is upright, you want empathy. So you want two sides of the story here. One makes sense, one doesn't make sense. But you know how it is, right? So you're trying to figure out about the here and now situation in that way. It's like, okay, I know what to do, but that's how it goes in that way, right? So you have to go with the flow. What's between this star card here? The 10 of Wands is upright, there's burdens. 9 of Swords, there's trauma. 8 of Swords, there's no anxiety. But the Fool is upright, yeah, because there's going to be change in that way, right? So you're trying to figure out why I'm changing this, why I don't want to do it, because that's how it goes. You're trying to have your own way, because you're not trying to make mistakes. You're trying to go with the flow, because you have to understand that. That's the way it goes, from the right and wrong perspective. But that's how it goes in that way. It's like, alright, everything seems to be fine. Alright, I don't want to be all finicky. I don't want to do it, but that's how it goes in that way. You're trying to know how it is in that way, and you know how it is in that way. So in the present situation, like right now, you're having basically change right now. Like you're going to have all these changes in that way, because that's how it goes. What's between the future? 3 Wands, there's no communication. The Emperor is upright because you're being ignored. The Knight of Swords, there's no drama. But the Moon is upright, there's misrotations. Yeah, that's how it goes. So it's like you know what it takes, you know what's going on in that way, because you're trying to figure out what's going on in that way, right? You have to try to emphasize of how you're feeling, of how it goes, right? So that's how it is. So now I'm going to figure this out in a way how this is, and you know what's going on for this entire situation for you, Gemini. You need to pay attention to what's going on in that way, if you're trying to figure out what's happening in the way of how this is. So I'm going to go from the middle, from the present to the past, and the present to the future in this situation. So the 7 of Wands reverse, you're not feeling in silence. Queen of Wands sorry, there's charisma. King of Cups sorry, there's support. 9 of Pentacles sorry, you're feeling comfortable. 7 of Cups reverse, you're not feeling silence. 7 of Pentacles is upright, you're basically focusing on your career, because you need a career, or maybe you're not. But the way how this is, you're trying to understand what it is. You're feeling comfortable because everything's fine, everything is all good. But this is how it is. This is not short and sweet. But the way how this is like you know how it is. In that way, you're trying to be casual of how it goes. And when you are gradual of the situation, you know how it is in that way, because you have to understand that. What's between the middle and the right side? 4 Pentacles reverse, 4 with the 9 Pentacles reverse, 4 with the World reverse. Yeah, so there's basically incompletion in this situation. You have no trust. You don't know what it is. So between this 9 Pentacles and this World, let me clarify. The Hero reverse, you have no guidance, but the 6 Wands, sorry, there's celebration. Yeah, in that way, I don't know why you're being celebrated for, but the way how this is, you're trying to understand of how it goes in that way, because you're trying to focus on your sensibility for knowing what to do, and you have to, play by the rules. So it's like, this is how it goes. So then we clarify this 9 of Pentacles on the left side here. So 6 of Cups, sorry, there's the past. 5 of Cups, sorry, there's grief. 2 Wands, sorry, you're planning on something. Yeah, that's how it goes in that way. What's between this 10 of Pentacles here? The Death card is upright, there's endings. The Empress reverse, there's no nourishment. 4 of Cups reverse, there's no distraction. 5 of Pentacles reverse, there's no security. The Emperor reverse, there's no structure. The High Priestess reverse, there's no inner voice. Page of Swords reverse, there's no education. 3 of Cups upright, there's celebration. Yeah, so you might be focusing on Scorpio in that way, because that's how it goes in that way. So you understand of how it is in that way. You're trying to have the here and now of this situation, because you have to go with the flow. You have to pay attention to how it's going to be, because you're trying to use your own momentum of knowing what to do in that way. What's between the middle of this situation? The 8 Cups reverse, there's no entertainment. The 6 of Swords reverse, there's no movement. 9 of Cups upright, there's romance. Yeah, that's how it goes in that way. So you're trying to feel like you're being romantic in that way, and that's fine. But the way how this is like everything has to be all great in that way, because you have to go with the flow, right? And when you go with the flow, you know what it is in that way, and you're paying attention to it. That's how it goes. What's between the right side? The 2 of Cups upright, there's relationships, friendships. The Swords upright, there's inspiration. The Strength card reverse, you're being scared. And the Queen of Cups upright, there's empathy. Yeah, because there's 2 sides of the story here. One makes sense, one doesn't make sense in that way, because you're trying to know that, oh, everything's fine. It's like, yeah, it is, but you're trying to know about the basics of how it goes in that way, so you understand of how it is in that way. So let's see what the universe is saying here for you, Gemini, for August the 15th to August 30th of 2025. So let's see what's going on. So going from the middle to left, middle to right. 8 Pentacles to right, so there's perfection. High Priestess here, there's no voice. The 3 Pentacles to right, there's excitement. The 7 of Swords here, you're not feeling deceit. Queen of Pentacles here, there's no stability. Queen of Swords to right, there's independence, yes, because you're being independent. 9 of Swords to right, there's trauma here, yeah, because you're focusing on what you're going to be doing. You're focusing about, what you're going to be doing, and you're trying to focus about being independent. You're trying to do exactly what you want. But that's how it goes in that way. You're trying to, crave your own decisions or your own temptations, but knowing what to do in that way. That's how it goes. Works between the middle and the right side. Wheel of Fortune's alright, you're going to have good luck. The Page of Swords here, there's no education. 3 Wands already, there's communication. The Hierophant reverse, there's no guidance. The 5 Pentacles here, there's no insecurity. And the Lovers separate, you're making decisions. Yes, that's how it goes in that way. Because you know how it is in that way. Because you have to understand that in that mobility of knowing what to do in that way. What's in the middle? The Destiny reverse, you're not taking action. But the 2 Wands, sorry, you're planning. Yeah, that's how it goes. You're going to plan on what's going to be happening in that way, because you're trying to understand that. You're trying to have courage, or you have your own sensibility. So you have to understand that. But before I let you all go, try to pay attention to what's going on in this one tarot reading. Try to pay attention to what's going on in that way. And you have to exactly how it is in that way, because this is how it goes. So I hope you all like this video. Please give a like, please leave a comment if you want, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, bye for now, really thanks, and bye.